Hi everybody, welcome to Outback Cookin Company's YouTube channel. My name's Jared Anderson. Today we're going to be making a charcuterie board for the holiday season. Okay guys, today we've been tasked with making a charcuterie board. Charcuterie is how they say that in France, I believe. Or in Oklahoma it might be charcuterie, one or the other. What is charcuterie? Well, we're gonna have to Google that to find out. We've Googled this, and in the French tradition, charcuterie, pronounced charcuterie, is the art of preparing and assembling cured meats and meat products. The idea of charcuterie has become very popular outside of France, and the term has evolved to include a variety of foods besides meat. A charcuterie board is an assortment of meats, cheeses, artisan breads, olives, fruit, and nuts, all artfully arranged on a serving board. We're going to make our own version of our charcuterie board. We don't have all the standard ingredients. Charcuterie is cured meats, could be prosciutto, Italian salami. So those type of meats are what typically goes on one of these boards. We're also going to combine that with a little bit of our Dutch oven smokehouse twist. We happen to have a smoked brisket that we cooked this week. We got some leftovers out in the fridge. We're gonna grab some of that. We're gonna thin slice some brisket. We've got a pork butt that we've cooked all night. A little creative today, and we're gonna make our own chutney. I have smoked an onion outside on the Traeger grill this morning. We've got some roasted jalapenos. We got some bacon. We're gonna use a strawberry jam, a little red wine vinegar, and possibly a little chili powder. To be honest with you, these are things we've had here at our house. We're kind of making up a recipe as we go. I think that's just gonna give a little kick to it, where we, chili powder's got a little garlic, and some chilies in there, so just hoping to add a little kick to it, a little variety. We're gonna add a tablespoon of olive oil to saute the onion in. We roasted the jalapenos, so I'm going to peel those. About a quarter cup of onions. I'm not measuring that, but that's a quarter cup. And then we'll use a quarter cup of jalapenos. I wear these gloves for my onion and jalapenos, just a little trick to keep all that flavor off of your hands and out of your eyes. That's important. We're going to start with a half a cup of strawberry jam. Today it's strawberry. If you guys have a different flavor that you feel is your favorite, I just like to combine strawberry with jalapenos. I think it makes a nice combination. We've already roasted these, but we're just going to get a little more sauteed action in here.
So what's going to be the difference between this being a normal charcuterie board and the charcuterie board with a barbecue twist?
I think with the normal charcuterie board, it's basically, if you're a hardcore Frenchman making a charcuterie board, it would be with just cured smoked meats. It would probably mostly be eaten cold. Today, we're just going to incorporate a little bit of pork shoulder and our brisket. The brisket's going to be served cold. We've already smoked that and chilled it in our fridge, and then we're going to thin slice it. It's easy to thin slice it when it's cold. But those would probably be the main things, is we're going to add those two abnormal ingredients. It's still pork shoulder, but it's not necessarily a cured meat. And the brisket is not cured, but they are both smoked.
So it's a barbecue riff on a charcuterie board.
It's a barbecue bent towards that, yes.
Maybe a French classic with Southwest sensibilities.
There you go. We've sauteed those, getting a little bit more flavor to the onion and the jalapeno. So I think we're ready. We're going to add this strawberry jam to the mix. And we'll turn that heat completely down. In fact, we'll pull that off for just a moment, let that cast iron cool off a second.
So what makes a chutney a chutney?
Well, that's a good question, Joe. I believe it's just a combination of some of these ingredients we're putting in. Normally it would be sugar and vinegar along with some kind of fruit, I believe. But today we're just doing the cheaters version a little bit. Here's our sugar and our fruit right here. So that's kind of a quick man's version. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a teaspoon of chili powder and let that simmer just a little bit with these ingredients. About that much, how about that? So that's 1 full cup of strawberry jam. All right, we'll also add a tablespoon of vinegar. This is red wine vinegar that I'm using here this morning. Okay. All right, we're gonna let that simmer just a little bit. The final ingredient is going to be some bacon that we have smoked on the Traeger outside this morning.
So you want crispier bits for this?
I think for this particular recipe one, and we're going to use a 1/4 cup of bacon. There we are. Let that simmer for 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll cool it off. That'll thicken up nice, and then we'll put that in a serving cup on our board.
And that's on low heat?
It's on low heat. As low as you can go right now. Yep. And what if we make this video and I don't like the recipe? I like the chili powder in there. It gives a little extra kick at the end. Otherwise it'd be too sweet for me. All right guys, so we've got a partial leftover brisket that we smoked this week. It's been in our fridge. We're gonna take advantage of our leftovers and use this unbeknownst to our guests who are gonna share on our charcuterie board. They'll think we just cooked this especially for them. What we're gonna do with this is, the brisket is cold, it's been in the fridge, and just gonna help us to slice it a little bit thinner. So that's gonna be in the spirit of our other thin sliced pork that we purchased from the store, our salami and our prosciutto. So with these charcuterie boards, it's generally not going to be a full meal for folks. So depending on how many guests you're serving, approximately 2 ounces per person should be plenty, because we're going to also incorporate some other things on the board, such as nuts, some fresh fruits. We'll have either crackers or some artisan bread. Today we're just going to have some simple crackers that we bought from the local supermarket, and whatever cheese that they had available. Boy, that brisket smells good. There is our thin sliced smoked brisket. I'm going to turn off the heat on this chutney we're making over here and let that cool off for about 15 minutes. That's pretty good, Joe. You need a taste of that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, cameraman, here you go.
Oh my.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really good.
That's gonna be nice. Turned out better than I thought. So the next step is we're going to put this on a charcuterie board. Today our choice of boards is a board made by a company that we know pretty well, Off the Wall Woodworks. Keep that in mind. You can check them out on our Instagram. They make specialty cutting boards, cabinetry, and today our charcuterie board. All right guys, we've got a pork shoulder that we smoked here in our Traeger grill overnight. It's all wrapped up here, ready to go. So we'll bring that back in the kitchen and we're going to shred that and incorporate that on the board. Might not even need any barbecue sauce. Shh. We're going to shred this pork up. We're not going to need a lot of it, but we want to get it shredded up in small enough pieces that somebody can grab that with a small fork or a toothpick. Although it would make a nice sandwich. That's not the design of this board though today. Although this pork is hot, I think what I'd like to do is cool that off in the fridge. Depends on when you're going to your party, but serving this cold would not be a problem. It would fit in well with the rest of the meats. So if you want to chill this, that's a perfect idea. This cheese my wife bought at the local store here. Pulled pork. I might have to make one of these for a party. Seems kind of good, doesn't it?
It really does.
A couple slices of this. I guess you can present this how you prefer. I'm just going to tear it into small chunks. That way it's easily put onto a cracker. And it adds a little character here with some different styles and shapes. One more meat today. We're going to throw on a little bit of hard salami. We've got some pitted olives. Got some goat cheese here we're going to incorporate. This will be more of a spreadable cheese, so I think what we're going to do here, we're just going to slice that in half, and then we'll put a little serving utensil on there to spread that cheese. And we've got some fresh mozzarella that we're going to slice. Okay, now we're going to incorporate a few nuts, some wafers or crackers, some artisan bread if you're so lucky to have either you've cooked some fresh bread or you've got a store that you can purchase that, but what we have here locally, we're just going to use some crackers today. We'll keep it simple, as it is Cowboy Charcuterie, right? A lot of this is for pickings, so you can just spread this stuff out. You don't need a lot of it. We do have some fresh raspberries. We're going to incorporate these in here. Dried fruit will transport well if you need to put this together after you get to your destination. We're also going to include a couple of our barbecue sauces today. The first one is the Colorado Gold. This is a mustard-based sauce and it pairs great with pulled pork or a lot of different things, but today it's the pulled pork we're after. We're also going to include on this board our Sweet and Sassy. It's got some notes of chocolate and various other things in here, but it's going to pair nicely with our brisket today. We also have this other brush fire sauce. This is an excellent brisket. It's a Texas style sauce, but it's excellent on brisket, steak, basically any barbecue to spice things up a little bit. Leave you hankering for more. This is thickened up nicely. We've let it sit on the stove for about 15 minutes. You can chill this in the refrigerator and keep for at least a week if you want to make this ahead of time. All right guys, thanks for tuning in today. So just to wrap up here, we've got our Cowboy Charcuterie board. We've included a little bit off the standard flair. We've got some of our own smoked brisket that we made here. Some pulled pork. We're serving these cold. Typically, like we talked earlier, the charcuterie is cured or salted pork. We have included those just to make sure that we're in line with what charcuterie stands for. But we went ahead and made some other items. We've got our strawberry chutney that includes smoked and roasted jalapenos and onions. You can find that recipe on our website. And you can find recipes for our other items, as well as the capability of buying these barbecue sauces that we make here in-house. We've got our brush fire, sweet and sassy that we've incorporated in our Colorado Gold, as well as you can find these homemade cutting boards / charcuterie boards on our website. Thanks for tuning in today.